Throughout the spring months, the summer months, the fall months, it all leads up to this in the state of hockey. There may be no better week throughout the entire hockey calendar than this week. Girls hockey state tournament, boys hockey sections getting going. Matt, it is a beautiful time of year if you are a high school hockey fan. Basketball just kind of finishing up as well, so they're making their final push to the postseason. But we are hyper-focused at the top of the show today on what's happening with Centennial Spring Lake Park, girls hockey at the state tournament, as well as what's happening with Blaine, Centennial, and SLPCR boys hockey.
Well, you love to see, I think, the parity in high school hockey, and it just really seems like it's getting better every year, right? Girls, it used to be you'd look at the dominant programs, you kind of knew who was going to be in it. And CSLP, they were one of the best teams in the state. It ended up being the best two teams meeting in the final, but you'll see when we get to the highlights how close every game was, even in the first round for CSLP to get through that. So that was fantastic. There were tons of boys hockey upsets in section playoffs. And we're going to have, I think, some fantastic finals coming up this week, including a big one for Centennial that we're going to be covering for North Metro TV this week. So, yes, we'll have basketball. That's going to become the main focus in the next couple of weeks as we start to inch towards those state tournaments. But it's all about the action on the ice. And we're going to get started by recapping the state tournament for CSLP. It started on Thursday at Grand Casino Arena. The 2-seeded Cougars against 7-seed Farmington. Miss Hockey finalist Elena Ganetz gets loose on the breakaway and slots it past McKenna Underwood. Her 34th of the year. Tigers would respond just over 4 minutes later. Jenna Goblersch lights the lamp. It was tied at 1 at the end of 1. In the second, Goblersch with the behind-the-cage feed to set up Taylor Risch. Tigers were up 2-1. Senior Annabelle Bucciaconi, some smooth skating in front of the net with her 11th of the year to put the Cougars back. It was 2-2, end to 2. And then all hell broke loose in the third period. Maddie Wolter's tip somehow snuck under the pads, and the junior commit to St. Cloud gave the Cougars a 3-2 edge. Great setup by defenseman Melanie Reff to tee up Ganetz for a backside one-timer, 3-2 to 4-2 in 90 seconds. Farmington would also find some room on the far post. Jenna Goblersch for the power play tally. It was 4-3, 11 minutes to go. The Cougars would get the lead back to 2 with some lightning quick hands shown by Wolter, her second of the game. And it wouldn't come easier than this for Josie Kelsenberg. Good find by Such. 6-3 CSLP, less than 5 to go. Give credit to the Tigers. They would score twice in the span of 46 seconds. That one from Amelia Goblersch on the power play made it 6-5, but an empty net goal by Lillian Renslow sealed it for the Cougars. They give up a season-high 5 goals, but get the job done to punch their ticket to Friday's semifinals against number 3 seed Holy Family. The 5th meeting of the season between the Cougars and the Fire. Mia Such got the girls bumping over on the Cougar bench by scoring 55 seconds in, a top shelf beauty for number 25 on the year for the sophomore. 3 minutes later, Fire on the power play. Maddie Kimbrell, following her own rebound, gets the job done here on the skater-up advantage, 1-1 score after 17 minutes. On to the second. Every year, you're going to hear people talk about, watch out for those lively boards at Grand Casino. What about the glass? Such off the window. Grace Lager, they would credit her with the goal eventually, and the Cougars led 2-1. Annabelle Bucciaconi wired one here from the high slot. A puck that had eyes, and CSLP go from 1 down to 1 up in the span of 13 seconds. Elena Ganetz can score from anywhere. She showed off the elite wrister for her second of the tourney, making it 4-1 with a power play goal. And then a 2-on-1 rush for the Cougars here in the final minute of the period, and Josie Kelsenberg says see ya. The freshman made it 5-1 after 2, and the Cougars dominating the number 3 ranked team in the state. Into the third, Katie Ball weaved her way for her first goal of the tourney. And then Kimbrell's second of the game, her 37th of the season, which is top 3 in girls class AA, made it 6-2. 4 minutes in, but the Cougars weren't done having fun. Wolters would score, and then she'd get it to freshman Avery Wagner for her first career state tournament goal, and the Cougars onto the final.
We've played them so many times, so we know their style of play. We know what they like to do. We know that when we play teams down low, when we get the puck down low, there's not much other people can do. So just kind of sticking to that game plan, getting low shots. They have a really good goalie, so just kind of making it really hard for her.
The rematch with everything on the line. Saturday night, number 1 Hill Murray, number 2 Centennial Spring Lake Park for everything. Pick it up early in the first. Emily Pohl making her home in Gretzky's office. Feeds Golden Gopher commit JC Chatelaine for the goal. Her second of the tournament. The Pioneers have the early advantage. Second period, once again, fresh ice early in the period, and once again, the play starts behind the net. Future Wisconsin Badger, Pohl is on the other end. Pioneers feeling up good, up 2-0. Calling the early birds because they strike when breakfast is on the table. Less than 3 minutes into the third, sophomore Reese Unclesbay sniping from the circle. 2 minutes later, Sophie Olsen completes her 2-point night. Rebound goal, Pioneers faithful can feel back-to-back titles. Less than 3 minutes to go. Cougars with the power play empty net. 6-on-4. Lily Renslow tapped down the shot from Ella Perot, and the Cats finally break through, but they weren't done quite yet. 6-on-5 now for the Cougs with the empty net. Bodies in front. Josie Kelsenberg slides it past the goaltender just like that. We've got ourselves a 2-goal game. Time winding down. Out of the scrum off the boards comes Katie Ball. Kelsenberg is there to clean it up, and the claws of the Cougars are sharp late in the game. Josie had a goal in every state tournament game. 4 goals, 6 points across these 3 contests. But CSLP just ran out of time. The green and white celebrate their second straight title as the Cougars tied their best finish in school history, falling 4-3 in the state championship game. And Matt, as we kind of put a bow on this season, it's kind of take a little bit of a step back, look at it from 10,000 feet in the air. This was a tremendous season, historic certainly. They went to the state championship game in the 2018 season, which was the final season for Gabby Hughes. We featured her a couple of weeks ago, now playing, of course, in the PWHL. They went 21-3-1 that year. But, kind of circling back to this year, you look at the history, but, man, the future is insanely bright. I mean, you got Josie Kelsenberg, who we just saw a couple of goals there. Freshman Avery Wagner's a freshman. Mia Sutchin. Annabelle Bucciacone, you saw she scored a couple of goals in the section final, and then she had herself an excellent state tournament as well. She's a sophomore. Grace Lager, goaltender Kyle Weiland. They're all juniors, just 6 seniors that are departing from this team. So Centennial Spring Lake Park, Sean Moline's club is not going anywhere.
No, I mean, they're young, and they just are coming off a 26-win season, which also tied a record. The Cougars have won 26 games each of the last 2 years. The big thing they're going to be looking to replace, right, is Elena Gannett's her 36 goals and one of those 2 50-plus point seasons that, we have listed up there. But this is still going to be a super talented team. Grace Lager, who's been at Centennial since she was a middle schooler playing varsity hockey, I think she still has another level to get to. She played more of an assist role this year with just shy of 40 assists. I think she's got the talent to be a Miss Hockey, to be a 25, 30-plus goal scorer next year. So that's what it works. You're playing a deep team with a lot of good players that are pushing for Team USA types of roles like you are. You're going to get more minutes. There's players with talent to put up huge numbers like even an Elena Gannett's did this year. So, as you said, Cougars not going anywhere in a great season this year.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you on what Lager. I could really see her game taking a big step up. Josie Kelsenberg really kind of flashed her talent as well. And then, looking to some of these deep pairings, what we mentioned with Annabelle Bucciacone. So they're going to be right back maybe in this same position that they were last year. Now, before the girls were skating at state, the boys began their journey to St. Paul in section playoffs. 5AA quarterfinal from Wednesday. Number 3 Centennial hosting number 6 Champlin Park. Less than 5 minutes in, Gavin Cunningham using the boards like an old arena football net. Joey Hammer on the receiving end storms the barn for his team-leading 26th of the year. Cougars up 1-0. It's safe to say the Rebels were rebellious. Luke Carlson on the rush. Goes for the smaller window, but hey, as long as you get it through, that's what matters. We're tied at 1. CP working hard in the Centennial zone. Reese Jord feeds a wide open Brody Holid for his 14th of the year. The Navy Blues take the lead after 1 period in Circle Pine. Second period, Cougars won't stay down for long. Tanner Dietrich cleans up the Isaac Adams breakaway chance, and we're all square at 2 apiece. What's better than 2 goals in a row? I think you know what's coming. 3 goals in a row. Puck leaks out to Nick Carls in the slot. Rubber meets twine, a match made in heaven, and the Cougars flexing their offensive muscle up 3-2 after 2 periods. Here come those rebellious kids from Champlin. Connor Kors feeds Holine for his second goal of the game. This one on the power play, and it's a tie game once again. Back and forth we go on this quarterfinal seesaw. Under 10 minutes to go in the third. Adams wins the draw. Good things happen when you get pucks on net. Cooper Hare, his hair's on fire, puts the Cougars in front, going just over the glove. 4-3 Cougs. Rebels pull the goalie. The final touch on this one is provided by Gavin Cunningham, and Centennial advances to the semifinals with a 5-3 win.
Tell us about falling behind and coming back. Against a team determined to beat you. They had already you played them twice already, but just your thoughts on that?
It's always hard to be a team 3 times. Like, we knew they were going to come hard, and we knew it needed to be done. We knew it could win, and just pulled it out in the end.
Yeah, it's an outstanding group of kids, not even kids, young men with great character, and we've known it from day one. It's a fun group to be with. It's a group of guys that you look forward to hanging out with, 5 or 6 years down the road when you cross paths, for dinner and their lives are going on. But yeah, just an extremely mature group of guys that, there was just never any panic. And, Champlin is a terrific team, and they gave us the push that we thought they would, and good for them. But super proud of our guys.
While the Cougars were punching their ticket to the semis, Blaine and SLPCR were battling for the soul of Fogarty Arena, matching up in the quarterfinals in the 5AA bracket. And the Bengals, who won 6-1 in the last meeting, picked up right where they left off from their prior matchup. Cruz Harper, the senior, zips in a wrister for his 9th of the year. Blaine led 1-0 at the end of 1. SLPCR with a power play chance. Beautiful puck movement. Barsness to Ryerson. It ends with a chef's kiss. SLPCR ties it at 1-1, 41 seconds into the frame. Number 3, Franklin Liu, he had to watch that goal from the penalty box, and he took that personally. He finds it after it caromed off the glove of an SLP defender. The senior's 8th of the year made it 2-1 in the Baby Blues' favor. Nice play here by Sam Burns, who penetrates a drop pass to Dylan Olson, who cashes in on his hard work. A 2-assist night for Burns, and the Bengals had their first 2-goal lead. And deuces were wild in this game. Cruz Harper, whose 3 older siblings were all standout athletes at Centennial, got his second of the game for the Bengals. It was unassisted. Blaine had a 4-1 cushion at the end of 2, a 3-goal lead. That's not even a lock, man. Sophomore Brady Lockman added an empty net goal and then an even strength goal for the 2 tallies of the third period that sealed the deal. The Bengals outshot the Catbirds 46-20 in a 6-1 win. Cruz Harper, 2 goals and 2 assists for the Blues.
Which leads us to the ultimate high-stakes Cat Clash 5AA semifinal on Saturday. Some call it heaven, I call it Furniture and Things Arena in Elk River. Nothing was easy in this one. Midway through the first, Cooper Hare shot in front. Joey Hemmer is there, but Wesley Onderly, a stonewall. A pair of saves keeps the game scoreless. About a minute later, Bengals a chance to throw. Nate Walraff, nice pass to Bayer. It's fired wide. Second period, same end, different attack, same result. Cunningham, the initial shot. Onderly is there, keeps the Cougars at bay, and the Goose Eggs haven't hatched quite yet. Breakaway chance for Cruz Harper. He can't quite catch up to that speedy rubber disc we call a hockey puck. Mid-second, Caden Johnson on a breakaway. Surely this is the goal, right? Nope. Onderly flashing the glove like a healthy Royce. Lewis Onderly had 27 saves. Third period, his counterpart Flynn Sandberg was just as good. Rebound chance gobbled up, turned away. And that was certainly important. 1 minute later, the crack in the goose egg came. Isaac Adams going up top to break the deadlock, his 10th of the year, and one no more important than that one in this moment. Bengals on the power play looking to tie it up. Save after save after save. Sandberg turned away. 31 Blaine shots throughout the course of this contest. Under 5 to go in the third. Cougars looking to put the game out of reach. Onderly is there to keep the Bengals within striking distance. So you're saying there's a chance. Under 2 to go. Here's the chance. Sam Coleman an opportunity. Sandberg stops the initial shot, and the rebound opportunity from Porter Bayer as well. The Cougars' stout defensive effort leads them to a section
you
final.
gotta set out a D-man too, blocking shots throughout the whole game, clearing pucks for me, bailing me out. It's a really nice thing for him.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, last year we lost in that first round. It was had a lot of good buddies on that team. So to win it for those guys and win it for the seniors this year, it feels great. So earlier in the year when Blaine beat us, there's a guy on their team doing an interview, and he said, Centennial's got nothing on us. Well, guess we got it now, don't we?
Well, I guess all we do here at North Metro TV is add fuel to the fire, apparently, in this rivalry. You know, it's one thing to have a Blaine Centennial semifinal matchup, but, you know, when you get to the post-game interview with Matt or Bill or any one of us, you never know what more can be added in a rivalry like this. So we saw what happened, Matt, in the bottom half of the bracket just now on video. Now we turn our attention to the top half of the bracket. Maple Grove, the #1 seed, a team that people felt pretty good that they were going to make the run, you know, kind of do what they do, maybe punch their ticket to St. Paul. But Andover upsets them in the semifinals in the nightcap of semifinal Saturday. They are going to be playing Centennial in the section championship game. Andover goes on the road in the quarterfinals. And then we just mentioned that Maple Grove game in overtime, 3-2 the final. And Andover has just completely flipped a switch. They've lost 7 of their last 9 in the regular year entering sections, and since then, they've outscored their opponents 5-2 in section play.
Right now, they're the only 5 seed in the state in Class AA that are going to be playing for a trip to the state tournament. There is one section still that has a couple of semifinals to be played, but they're the underdogs, a sub-500 record for the Huskies going into the section final. They did not lead at any point in that game until they scored the golden goal in overtime about 4.5 minutes in to upset the favorites in Maple Grove. So that sets up a really fun matchup. Cougars and the Huskies, they played each other twice a year for the better part of 2 decades. The Cougars are going to be trying to beat the Huskies for the 3rd time this year. That's no easy feat, no matter what the score was last time in Andover, a traditional power. They've been to state a ton in recent years after moving over from 7AA.
Yeah, this is going to be, you know, when you get to this level, it seems like anything can happen. And you kind of mentioned those 2 previous meetings this season, 6-3 back in December, 4-1 in January. So we're talking about 10 combined goals, but that should be no surprise to anybody. Centennial has been a fantastic offensive team this entire year, and defensively, maybe earlier in the year weren't as good, but that shot out against Blaine, maybe that's going to give them a little bit of a boost defensively. Andover, as we mentioned, looks like a completely different team. So we can't wait. That's going to be live on North Metro TV and then streaming on NSPN.TV. 18 minutes and 20 seconds of hockey to kick off this program today as we shift over to the basketball court here, Matt.
Yeah, and we got a lot going on here in Boys Hoops. Last week of the regular season here coming up this week, and then we'll be talking about section playoffs and that push to the state tournament. So let's get right into it. We've got highlights to bring you from this past Tuesday. Spring Lake Park Boys Hoops on the road at Coon Rapids. Panthers trying to snap a 3-game skid. The Cardinals trying to build on 3 wins in a row. Nolan Roach, that's QB1 of the corner 3, helping the Cats out to a 5-0 lead, and Nolans were wild early. Another one, this one Myron from a similar spot. It was 8-zip. The Panther lead would cut back to single digits when Kieran Wymore knocked one down, and Wymore with more. Why not? Another made triple that kept the Cardinals hanging around. Myron averaging 27 a game. You might want to cover him. He knocks down easy money there for the junior. Cal Spencer canned one from downtown. The Panthers led 44-23 at the half. Wymore kept doing his thing, but he just didn't have the supporting cast. 6'10" center Aaron Jepson scoring in the paint. He finished with 5. Senior Imran Muhammad splashed down on the only made triple by a Coon Rapids player not named Wymore. Aiden Lowry chipped in 16 to complement Myron's 18, and the Panthers snapped the skid with a win over Coon Rapids. So keeping the Panthers on the brain, SLP followed that up with a Wednesday win, beating Centennial 79-67 in the second game of back-to-backs. It's the first back-to-back wins for the Panthers since an 8-game winning streak from late December into late January. They had dropped 7 of their last 8 before taking care of business against the bottom 2 teams in the Northwest Suburban Conference last week. Spring Lake Park, going into the final week of the regular season, sit at 14-10. Blaine, in the meantime, on Tuesday, finished off a season sweep of section foe Anoka. 5 Bengals starters all reached double figures in that game on Tuesday, including 25 points from senior Owen Clark, a season high. They followed that up with a loss to Totino Grace on Thursday. That's the #1 ranked team in Class 3A. Tyann Chapman, the younger brother of Tayson Chapman, who plays for the Ohio State Buckeyes, had 26 in the win for the Eagles. TG keyed in on Blaine leading scorer Shiloh Ayite. He only had 12 points, a season low in that defeat to the Eagles, but Ayite looking more like himself as he dropped 27 on Saturday in a 10-point road win at New Prague. Blaine are not going to play here next week. They finished the regular season at 19-6. Centennial saw their losing streak extend to 5 with 3 losses in 5 days last week. That, in particular, that defeat to Duluth East stings. That will hurt them in the section seeding coming up. Taking a look at the section standings, 5-4A Spring Lake Park. They have lost to the 4 teams just ahead of them in the standings. They've beaten the 2 teams below them. They have a big game coming up against the #3 ranked Crimson, the top team in the section. If they win that game, it shakes things up in 5-4A. If not, Spring Lake Park are going to be a 6 seed coming up in the section playoffs in 2 weeks. In 7-4A, Blaine a near lock for the 1 seed. Their lone section loss is to Andover, but they also beat the Huskies in the first game of the year. Centennial, they are close to the other bottom 4 teams in the section by the QRF, but head-to-head losses to East, to Rapids. They do have a win over the Blue Jackets of Cambridge Isani. I'll give you Charles Barkley. I guarantee it, Centennial, a lock for the 7 seed, which means they will go on the road, likely to face Andover in that section playoff first round.
Yeah, this is good. As we kind of get closer to March Madness, that is these section tournaments, things get really interesting. You look to the QRF on the 5-4A side. You look at Champlain Park, Roseville, Mounds View, Spring Lake Park, all kind of within 10 spots of each other. This is a Spring Lake Park team. We've seen it with Nolan Roach, as you kind of talked about during the highlight, and Nolan Myron. We've seen him go off for 30-plus multiple times this year. When it comes to March Madness, Spring Lake Park's a team where if they can get hot, they can put up a lot of points, and maybe they can pull one of these first-round upsets. And we saw Centennial kind of do that last year. So you want madness, these might be 2 sections that you might want to be dialed into. Let's flip over to the girls' side of things. What's better than a girls' basketball cat clash to finish the year? Very few things. Centennial traveling to Spring Lake Park on Wednesday night. First time down, the Cougars. Keem the Dream ain't got nothing on the Sydney Shimmy. Sydney Schmitz, the fader and the bounce. I found something better than maybe a season finale cat clash. A press break when the ball never hits the floor. Grace Solom puts it in. Cougars lead cut to 1. Solom had 6 and 4 rebounds. Ava Taylor from distance. Anna Smolish, a nice bounce pass here. Smolish had 13 and 4. And a lot of those points came from this spot. Outside the area code, hoop in the arm. She finished with a 4-point play from the line. Panthers down 6 at the break. Second half, a lot of people want to be the truck, but sometimes it pays to be the trailer. Sydney Schmitz finishing on the second chance. She led the Cougars with 20. Centennial up 10 with under 6 minutes to play. Jalen Bursey-Dixon down low for 2 of her 15. But this was a Cougar kind of night. Kate Lee pushes the lead back to double digits. Centennial wins 63-56.
I'm really happy that we got the win. It was a close game, and so it just feels good to get this good win under our belt going into sections. A lot of people scored, a lot of people did rebounding, a lot of people made really great passes, and that's exactly what we need as a team that plays together.
Everyone was very uplifting when things happened, and they were scoring when we needed them, and it was very amazing. They were sharing the ball, everyone was scoring, it was great.
The sound of that, it's bracket times, and we always print off the old-fashioned brackets, or at least I like to here on Sports Den. Let's start in first in Section 7. 4A, Centennial draws the number 2 seed. They will face number 7 Duluth East on Wednesday night. Blaine is the number 3 seed. They'll face number 6 Coon Rapids in a border battle on Wednesday night as well. 3 of these games at 6 o'clock. Forest Lake, Cambridge Isani going to tip off at 7 p.m. So if we're looking at the Cougars right now, they've won 9 of 11 games entering section play. Blaine have won 6 of 7. So these are two teams that are playing really good basketball late in the year. You look at the Greyhounds of Duluth East, they've lost 4 of 6 to finish off the regular year. Blaine and Coon Rapids played twice this year. 77-36 win for Blaine. That was at Coon Rapids on December 9th. Back at the Bengal Gym on January 13th, 68-53 out there. We'll see. We've talked many about these third matchups when it comes to playoff time. We'll see if Blaine can get the job done over there. And, you know, we see it all the time, that Centennial Blaine semifinal matchup. It is written in chalk. Are the Greyhounds of Duluth East and the Cardinals, are they going to get that eraser and kind of race that off? We will see. Now, no North Branch, no neutral site this year. That's a little bit different. They're kind of taking over the boys format from last year, where it's the highest remaining seed. So if Forest Lake gets through and wins that 1 versus 8 matchup, they will host a doubleheader out there in Ranger country in the semifinals. Now we go to Section 5 on the girls' side here. Spring Lake Park draws the number 5 seed. They will go on the road to Rogers tomorrow night to open the section tournament. SLP started the season 8-0, including a win over Rogers on December 2nd, but they've lost 13 of 19 down the stretch, including a defeat by the Royals February 2nd, 76-70. So that could be a very competitive matchup, but the downside is you might get Maple Grove at Maple Grove in the semifinals. We're going to finish things off. We've been talking about a lot about these basketball and hockey, but there's also kind of some other athletes making noise. At the AA State Gymnastics meet, senior Grace Vazel of Blaine Andover competed in the AA State individual all-around. How about 2 top 10 finishes and 13th overall in the all-around. 3 balance beam attempts were over 9.4, which eclipsed school records that she set back in January. All 4 of her floor exercise routines were over 9.5, but just fell short of her school record at 9.6. So, Matt, we had a fantastic week this week, and we talked about that at the beginning. I think it set it up with this boys championship game, and then basketball just really starting to kick into gear. So excited to bring all of you that section championship game in Elk River. It is going to be a spicy atmosphere. Let's just put it that way. That it's always great where they pack in to these rinks, these section championships. Everybody looks forward to the tourney, no doubt about it, in St. Paul. But sometimes these 8 section championships might be the best group of days in the boys hockey.
Yeah, I mean, expand that out to Class A too. I mean,
Right,
these
yes.
16 section finals we have going on throughout the state this week. It's some of the best. Just the drama of getting to the state tournament. You have a few of those programs that expect to be at state year in and year out, but for a lot of the programs, it's such a battle just to get there, and that's the most dramatic part when you're that close to seeing the puck drop and getting a game at home of the Wild. So it should be great. Thursday, I think we're going to see some goals on Centennial and Andover. So should be a fantastic game.
Yeah, once again, live on North Metro TV and streaming on NSPN.TV. So we'll see you Thursday, and we'll always see you back here every Monday night. He's Matt Dean. I'm Ted LaRue. We'll see you then.